Welcome to INDY NXT by Firestone, racing from St. Petersburg. It's time for a new season. The long winter is over. And once again, sunny St. Pete in the Tampa Bay serves as the traditional starting point for high-level Formula Car racing. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Kevin Lee, along with IndyCar driver and INDY NXT veteran Jack Harvey. So what is INDY NXT, Jack?
This is the feeder series directly into the NTT INDYCAR Series. Everything they're trying to learn now is going to really pay dividend if and when they get the opportunity to progress forward.
It is time to start a new season, and it begins with INDY NXT by Firestone. The next crop of IndyCar stars about ready to go. Let's head to the grid.
Here to give the command to start engines, your Grand Marshal for the INDY NXT by Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, guest of Firestone, Curtis Shively.
Drivers, start your engines!
Now it officially feels like race day, heading to IndyCar on Fox, noon Eastern first. It's INDY NXT by Firestone, 21 drivers racing for a championship that includes a scholarship to get them to the 2026 Indianapolis 500. Great look at the onboard that we will have today with Ricardo Escoto.
Here's a look at our Firestone starting grid.
Let's see how they are going to line up now. You'll see on the left side of your screen the Firestone starting grid with Dennis Hauger on debut, Jack, winning pole, announcing his presence with authority, I would say.
I would say that's a very nice way of putting it. He really wants to continue his racing career in North America, and what a better start than being on the pole position for the first race.
Lockie Hughes is also a rookie. He won the championship last year in the level below. Miles Rowe won it 2 years before. Good start for him on the second row. The only driver that returns that won a race last year is Kyle Collette. He is the highest returner in the championship, finished third last year in the championship. All right, Jack, tell us about this temporary street course that also uses an airport runway.
Yeah, turn 1 going to be the best overtaking spot. Turn 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, really important. Those walls come at you very quickly. Very small margin of error. Exit at 9 leads into probably the second best spot to overtake. That's turn 10. But one thing to consider, no one's been really down the inside of the track there. It still might be a little bit dirty, so even trying to make those overtakes today, they're going to have some risk associated with them.
They've not been out on track since yesterday afternoon. There's been IndyCar qualifying and IndyCar warm-up. How does the track change?
Well, to be honest, right now, it's probably similar to where they were from an actual temperature standpoint. The track's cleaner. This is probably the cleanest the track has been for INDY NXT right now. How's it going to change? I'm not sure. All I know is that throughout this this session, it's going to keep getting quicker and quicker and quicker.
One to go.
One lap to go, and we will kick off the season. All right, what are the keys in a 45-lap or 55-minute race with no pit stops, one set of Firestones?
Tire management, honestly, at this stage. You're going to be able to go out, push when the cars are together. Obviously, that's the best opportunity to try and move forward. Once they get processional, being able just to take a breath, manage the tires. They also have push to pass, managing that throughout this race. Degradation could be a factor towards the end, and that's then going to be your next opportunity to move forward. So being able to conserve some of that push to pass, use it when you really need to, make it really count when you do it. They're the big takeaways.
We've got an issue already for one of the rookies. This is 19-year-old Liam Skeets from New Zealand from the HMD Motorsports program. They had a tire rub and they had to change the front wing assembly, we are told, and they are going to have a very difficult time. They're not going to catch up to the pack, and he's going to hope to be able to stay on the lead lap and then get a quick caution.
Yeah, I mean, that's such an unfortunate way to start. And I mean, he had a great qualifying. He was going to be rolling off of 5th position today as well. So that's a real shame.
Wish you were here. It's sunny and 69 degrees, highs in the low 70s today. It has been perfect all weekend. Teammates are starting on the front row as they begin to line up 2 by 2, exit of turn 10, winding around. It's been a huge crowd all weekend, kicking off the IndyCar season. Coming up later today on Fox, this is the next crop of IndyCar drivers. It's Indy Next by Firestone, lining up on the airport runway. It's time to go in 2025. We are green from St. Pete. Hauger, Hughes. Side by side for a moment. Hauger is going to get the jump. Collette's trying to dive to the inside. And we've got contact. And at least 2, 3 impacted further in the pack. James Rowe is one of them. And Tommy Smith is not going to get through, the 16. They'll race for a moment. 2 more side by side. Jordan Missick trying to fit his way through with Ricardo Escoto. Missick in the red and white car. And now we go full course caution.
That was a wild start. Absolutely wild start. When you see that many cars side by side, it looked like they were 4 wide at one point. They just don't continue to go through that way. And he's beached. I mean, that's super unfortunate to be beached like that.
So they get through okay in the front, but it's back in the middle.
Yeah. I think the 16 actually ended up causing that, just ended up tagging the 10 there, I think. That's what it looks like. Yeah,
Neil's
just keep an eye on Neil there. And yeah, he's kind of an innocent bystander there. And the aftermath is just people trying to react super quickly to what they're seeing. But
I see bent suspension in the left rear, so it's not just the nose for Niels Cole, and that is going to be problematic, and it's going to cost him at least a stop for quite some time to make repairs.
Yeah, he definitely tagged the outside wall there pretty hard, I would say.
So, didn't quite make it through turn 1 to kick off the season. Lap 1 caution. We'll sort it out and get set for a restart coming up. Welcome back to Indy Next by Firestone, racing from St. Petersburg. Caution on the opening lap, back to green, and no change up front. Dennis Hauger, Lockie Hughes, Kyle Collette, Jack William Miller jumped up to 4th at the start. Miles Rowe has gotten back by him. That's him in the black and red number 99. The blue car is Miller in 5th, and Salvador de Alba is right behind him in that blue and white number 27 car. Good start for Jordan Missick behind him, red and white number 48. And then it's one of the Ganassi cars. That's something new. Chip Ganassi Racing, many-time IndyCar champion, the reigning champion of the last 2 years with Alex Palou. They're back with 2 cars in Indy Next. Michael Andretti's team, Andretti Global. Michael is still an ambassador for the program. They are 1-2 in this race right now, and the other powerhouse team is HMD Motorsports. They have 9 cars. Let's see if we can settle into a rhythm. Thanks for joining us today on FS1 opening weekend for IndyCar. Kevin Lee, Jack Harvey, Jamie Little, working towards IndyCar on Fox at noon. The start was under review, and it has been adjudicated. And Tommy Smith, if and when he can continue, it would be held for 30 seconds.
I would say that's fair. He ended up just getting into the back of another car there, caused that whole, incident that we saw. So, really unfortunate start that way, but it's difficult. Like we mentioned early, no one drives down the inside of the track very often. So when all the cars are over there, your peripherals are different. You're focused on the cars ahead of you, not just your braking markers and whatnot. So, yeah, really unfortunate for him.
Also of note, Liam Skeets, who we saw pull into the pit lane on the pace laps, has not returned, so he's 4 laps down. James Rowe is also impacted. He's 3 laps down, in for repairs. Smith was in the pit box as well. On board the Franks Red Hot car, the number 3 for Ricardo Escoto with Andretti Cape. Started in 8th position, right now runs in 10th. And you can see how treacherous this could be.
Yeah, he's fighting already, and like I said, those walls are so tight. Like you've got probably inches only, so you're now trying to push to make up those positions that he's lost, try and feel the car out today. Has the track changed from their last time on track, and then go forward again.
He's being challenged by that gray or silver car behind him, Callum Hedge. That was a little bit surprising that Hedge qualified where he did in 12th. He's one of the championship contenders, 4th in the championship last year, 2nd best of the returning drivers. So we think he's quick, and we think he can potentially move his way forward just a little bit. He's picked up 1 spot.
Well, and some of the strategy here is going to be when you use your push to pass, trying to get the other guy not to use it. So that's going to be a big factor on how these guys end up trying to move through the field here too.
All right, now we can settle into a rhythm just a little bit. Dennis Hauger is led from the start. His teammate Lockie Hughes is in check, but we had chaos in the opening moments from St. Pete. Welcome back to Indy Next by Firestone, racing from St. Petersburg. IndyCar opening weekend. This is Indy Next by Firestone. That is Dennis Hauger, 21-year-old from Norway, 5-time winner in F2. He has led from the start in front of his Andretti Global teammate, Lockie Hughes. To pit lane and Jamie Little.
Well, Kevin, there's different rules here in the Indy Next Series. How about this? We're out here on an active pit road. We're allowed to be here for the whole race. Now, one thing to keep in mind, there are no official pit stops in this series. They run the whole race on the same set of tires. But if you do have an issue, you pull in, you get work done, and we get a up-close and personal view of everything happening. Pretty cool.
Very cool for us, not so cool for them. That is where you do not want to be, and unfortunately, Liam Skeets has spent the entire race sitting in that position.
And that's such a shame. You know, starting 5th, you get the season off on a, you know, the position you want to be, right in the battle for it today, and for it to go that way just kind of sucks.
So we heard about the penalty to Tommy Smith. He's back out, the repaired car.
So the good news is you have plenty of cars that are still going to be DNF. You had 3 cars at DNF, and you got Haley in front of you, so let's chase her for some points.
And he's got a couple of laps to catch up at this point.
And actually, his engineer was on my car at Dale Coyne last year as a DAG, so
okay,
nice to see the promotion there.
That's Jack Harvey. He's still an active IndyCar driver. He will be entered in this year's Indianapolis 500 with Dreyer and Reinbold and Cusick Motorsports. Did almost all of last season full-time with Dale Coyne Racing. Finished 2nd in this championship twice. Actually tied one time and lost on a countback on tiebackers. I'm sorry to keep bringing that up.
I know
it's
it
a sore
hurts,
point
man.
because
It
it
still
cost
hurts.
you over $1 million.
Yeah, it costs quite a lot actually, but you know, here we are. We're still enjoying it. We smile. And I think Dennis Hauger just set the fastest lap of the race on that previous lap, so I think he's starting to get into his groove now. He's just starting to stretch a little bit. I know he's a rookie. He has won Formula 3 before. He's won races in Formula 2. Being out front leading, that is not new for him. So I think the way that he's about to manage this race is going to really tap into that experience that he's had on his way up to Indy NXT.
Top 6 checking out just a little bit. Hauger, Hughes, Collette, Rowe, Miller, De Alba. Jordan Missick back there. One of the Ganassi. Oh, and there's James Rowe, who was involved in the opening lap contact, came in for repair, so he was multiple laps down, and he is into the barriers. Full course caution. So we'll get another restart coming up while they repair and collect James Rowe. Stay with us from St. Petersburg. Today on Fox, the NASCAR Cup Series is in Texas, where the best drivers in the world take on the twists and turns at the Circuit of the Americas. Pre-race coverage begins at 2:30 Eastern with the green flag at 3:30, only on Fox. That's right after IndyCar at noon. Tyler Reddick on the pole on the road course today. Bubba Wallace on the front row. Connor Zilisch making his Cup debut. He won the Xfinity race yesterday after a penalty. And continues to win just about everything he does.
Absolute superstar talent. Superstar talent.
Wins an MX-5 Cup, sports car racing.
Everything he's done
every
really,
level
so.
of NASCAR.
Yeah.
So now we see him at the top level. Unfortunately, James Rowe is on the hook, involved in the second incident of the day. We're going to go racing again coming up in one more lap. Thanks for joining us on FS1 today. Kevin Lee, Jack Harvey, Jamie Little. Dennis Hauger is up front with Andretti Global. Former F3 champion, 5-time F2 race winner. He's led every lap from pole. Lockie Hughes has been right behind him, rookie. Also with Andretti, who won the USF Pro Championship. Kyle Collette third, Miles Rowe, Jack William Miller, Salvador De Alba, Jordan Missick, Jonathan Brown, Ricardo Escoto, and Callum Hedge, the top 10. Hedge has moved up a couple of spots. The biggest mover is Nikita Johnson, up 6. Let's check in with the 2018.
How is the balance?
Pretty neutral, probably gonna go forward here on the end, real end. It's the main thing. Trying to take care of it.
Copy.
Did you copy that, Jack?
Well, I know I should speak driver, but I actually didn't quite copy all that. I heard he said he's going to try and take care of it. I got to assume at that point he's got to be talking about tires, right? Like, that's the only thing right now that he can really control that he could take care of. So I'm sure that, you know, tire management is going to be huge. You know, still got 33 laps to go, so not even a third through the race yet.
So second caution of the day, and they're still cleaning up some debris in turn 5, so we'll pace for one more lap. 12 of the 45 are complete, or 55 minutes, but still plenty of time to get this race completed in laps unless there are more cautions. All right, let's check in on pit lane again with Jamie Little.
Well, Hailie Deegan is in the field today making her open wheel debut. She's been in so many different series, including the Truck Series, Xfinity Series. But her dad, Brian Deegan, MX legend, X Games legend. What are the feelings right now, Brian, watching your little girl make her debut in an open wheel car?
It's exciting. You know, it's for her to take on a new challenge. I know it's a steep learning curve for her, but I'm excited. As a parent, you like to see that, and nervous, right? It's still our daughter going very fast in it's a very small race car, so it's nerve-wracking, but it's cool to see a new sport like this for her.
Good to see the family support. Everybody came out to support Hailie Deegan, guys.
A lot of star power, a lot of social media followers,
Yes.
YouTube channels. Hailie is a superstar, an influencer. Has had some success in stock car racing and off-road racing, but this challenge is immense. We have to understand realistic expectations. Everyone else has been doing this since they were 7 years old.
So not only is it her first time in an open wheel car, she's never been on a street circuit before. A lot of the drivers today will have in some way or another driven on a street circuit. People really need to keep their expectations in check. We chatted to her earlier in the weekend. She just wants to get better every weekend, and I thought that was a really fair goal and expectation of herself, just to continue that progression, just keep learning. That's what she's here for.
Jamie.
Well, Jack, when we were talking to Hailie Deegan, I asked her about, you know, what's the biggest difference going from a NASCAR Xfinity car or a truck to these cars, and she said, well, there's no power steering here. They're really hard to drive. She said, my little hands want to slip off the wheel, but she's worked on her upper body strength to make it last to the end, Kevin.
Running laps should be the goal today, and she is moving forward through attrition. Right now restarting in 17th. Up front, it's the Andretti drivers, the Brazilian, Collette in third, Miles Rowe is in fourth. Let's go again from St. Pete. Hauger sprinting down the airport runway into turn 1. Hughes in pursuit, not close enough. Collette thinks about it. Jack William Miller in the blue car, looks inside Miles Rowe, backs out of it, all through clean, turn 1 on the restart. Collette Trying to go long way. Hughes does a nice job of defending on the inside.
It's very, very difficult to overtake on the outside of turn 4.
And how did Callum Edge get through there? That is tight, and he found a way to fit in that gray number 17. Oh, I see some damage there. Right behind Hedge, right behind the gray car. Is that one of the Ganassi cars? Is that Colin? That may be Sebastian Murray. It may be Sebastian Murray in the number 2 car. Still tied up front. Hughes has not let Hauger get away. That is the number 2 car. It's Sebastian Murray from Andretti Cape, 18-year-old rookie from Scotland, who has endured some contact, and that front wing looks flimsy. We said Hedge would be quick, but he's now trying to hang on it as he looks to go through the outside, and he might lose a spot.
Yeah, man, trying to brake as late as you can. That's paint down there. So the guys, they come, they're pushing, they do the downshift. Looked like he just maybe had a little lock up there, took him off the path. And worse than that, because he's now off the racing line, he's picking up dirt. So the next several corners are going to be really tough for him now.
That green car that just got by Murray is Josh Pearson, who did not get a chance to qualify yesterday because of what they think are electrical problems, and they are crossing their fingers that they are sorted. That's the number 14. Josh Pearson is one of the returners, 19 years old from Oregon.
Yeah,
in his second
wing,
full season.
That wing is definitely broken there. I didn't see exactly what caused it, but it looks like the left side of it has an issue.
Also of note, we talked about Liam Skeets, who had mechanical problems at the start. He is back on track, but many laps down. Watch this save. That's tight.
Man, I think his left rear just touched that wall there.
Yeah, you saw some things kind of peel away.
I thought he locked up, but I think that smoke that I saw was him actually just gently kissing the wall.
Edge is still on it. He has picked up a couple of spots, running in 10th.
Well, the tyres cool down. They haven't got back up to the pace yet that they were running. I'm surprised at this point that the field hasn't spread out more. So I don't know if that's just people really controlling the tempo, controlling their speed. But it's kind of interesting to see how tight the field still is.
For Hauger right now, managing his race. Is there more comfort level with a teammate behind you? Knowing that if he's going to get by you, it's probably going to be likely to be clean?
I would say it depends on what level of conversation the team had with the drivers before the session, because one thing everyone always needs to remember, all these drivers want to win. If you can't win, the next goal is to always beat your teammate. So let me tell you, from Hughes' perspective, he wants to win. He does not want to be beaten by anybody, especially his teammates. So he's going to be pushing as hard as he can here for sure.
No change up front. It's still tight in the top 7 or 8. That blue car that you got to look through there is Jack William Miller, 21-year-old from Carmel. You might recognize the name of his dad, Dr. Jack Miller. Drove in 3 Indianapolis 500s. Adam Vinatieri is a partner on that program. And they now are working with Able Motorsports. And right now in line for his best finish and his best start of the season. Let's check out on Josh Pearson, who's moving forward, and check in with his radio.
Very, very good, Josh. That was an awesome move. Come on, focus forward. Focus forward here. You're doing great. Bang.
And Josh Pearson has moved up 8 positions, started 19th because he did not get to qualify, now 11th. That's, by the way, former Indy Lights driver Steven Simpson, who has worked with Josh for several years, that you heard on the radio.
I love that encouragement. You know, like when you're out there, you're always driving, you're always pushing, but having that extra person in your ear to give you that extra boost to keep going. Like, you've done great. How far forward can we get?
And by the way, if you hear a reference of Indy Lights, that's what Indy NXT was known as for many years. It's been a transition in the paddock. You'll still hear a lot of the IndyCar team owners and drivers call it Lights, but it's Indy NXT by Firestone. Take some time.
That still might take me a second, especially because when I raced in Indy NXT, it was called Indy Lights, so I might be guilty of doing that 1 or 2 times.
There's Miles Rowe, year 2 at the top step of the ladder. After winning a championship 2 years ago in USF Pro 2000, he's in that red and black number 99 car. He's with a new team this year. He's with HMD Motorsports last year, now with Abel Motorsports. Team formed for Jacob Abel by Bill, but Jacob's now an IndyCar, but they're now all in. 4 cars, all qualified near the front, competed not just with Jacob last year, who finished 2nd in the championship, but had other strong programs as well. Miles is still supported by Penske Entertainment. And also Force Indy is a part of the Race for Equality and Change program, and he's looking good. He was fastest in qualifying in his group yesterday and running a solid 4th today.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job, and this is the kind of step you want to see from your rookie year to your 2nd season. So really good so far. Just keeping it smooth. He looks sporty at this stage. Like I said, I'm surprised they haven't stretched out a little bit more. But for Miles right now, points. This is a long season, so he's running 4th. No doubt he's going to want to try and get on the podium. No doubt he's going to keep pushing for that. But this is a nice start to the season for him.
Miles is a great story as someone who thought his racing career was over. Did a little bit of Formula car racing and was successful. No budget, didn't race for a few years, and it was actually Will Power that helped get him a start again. At a go-kart track in Charlotte when the Race for Equality and Change program was starting, told Roger Penske and the Penske people, hey, this Miles Rowe kid is really good. Give him a go. Got a test in USF 2000. Was quick. Did 2 years there. Competed for the championship in the 2nd year. Won at the next level. And here he is. Close enough. Essentially, this is like AAA. If you're a baseball fan, this is AAA. It's the top step. Waiting for simply a call-up to get to IndyCar.
Yeah, I mean, all these drivers, their dream is to race in IndyCar, period statement. So you just never know who's around. It's always a good day to have a great day. And for Miles, you know, when he was having that day and he met Will and they had a great connection, the outcome is he's getting the opportunity to live his dream for as long as he can. And I think that's just a really cool story.
All right, let's ride on the Franks Red Hot on board with Ricardo Escoto. Jack, take us through turn 1.
Yeah, so you're coming through 1, you're hugging the inside there. Turn 2, super quick, and looks like we've just gone to a yellow, actually. Not sure what's happened here, but...
Well, let's see who has the issue, and it is Nolan Aller in the HMD Motorsports. So Aller with significant contact. He's
Good job, though.
looks to be okay.
You're okay.
3rd caution of the day from St. Petersburg in the opener. Thank you for joining us today for Indy NXT by Firestone, racing from St. Petersburg. Opening weekend for INDYCAR. There are plenty of things to do, along with plenty of action, and unfortunately the third full course caution of the day. Let's hear in-car radio from the car impacted.
I'm out. I'm okay. I'm out, but I'm okay. I'm so sorry, guys. 6 car just had damage. It was so loose through all those corners. I'm so sorry. We were doing so well.
What a shame for Nolan Aller, who was born in the Detroit area. That's home, but he lived here in St. Pete from when he was about 3 years old until he was in high school. Did a partial season last year. Made a big jump up to this level. Off-season testing had gone well. Solid start to the race, but unfortunately it ends on the hook. Here's your biggest movers. We've talked about Josh Pearson. Another St. Pete native, Nikita Johnson, is just 16 years old. He won the last 2 years here in the levels below this, USF Pro 2000 and USF 2000. But before this weekend, not only was he a rookie, he had never driven this car. Everyone else had tested some, meaning practiced. He had never been in the car. First practice, as you would imagine, not super quick. He's been getting better throughout the weekend.
And I think that was a realistic expectation, like nothing quite like being thrown in the deep end, right? And these guys and girls, they've had a lot of off-season testing. I think some people as much as 6 days, some as few as 4. So to come in and look, you can take confidence that you've won here. You know this track. You know what it takes to be quick in those cars. Every car drives a little bit differently. They all have tiny nuances that you need to be able to master, and to jump into a street circuit where it's evolving all the time, that is a very big ask. But I mean, he's having a nice race, no doubt.
We have 16 on the lead lap. Tommy Smith was involved and actually penalized for the opening lap contact. He's out 2 laps down. Liam Skeets is back out 11 laps down, but he has a chance to move up from 19th to 18th. With Aller out of the race at this point. James Rowe out. Niels Colin of Ganassi also involved in the opening lap incident and did not complete a lap. 21 cars. That is healthy.
Very healthy.
A few years ago when there were 7 or 8 cars at this level, and we have had high teens to low 20s for the last couple of years. All right, pace car pulling off. Ready to go again after the third caution. Does anyone have anything for Dennis Hauger? His Andretti teammate, Lockie Hughes right behind. How about Kyle Collette, the veteran, in third? Callum Hedge is coming down to the inside, trying to defend a little further back. They will fan out. Single file up front. A lock up for Escoto. Hedge with that position. And we are clean through 1. Now this twisty section in 2 and 3, quite challenging.
Yeah, very challenging. And coming into 4, that's a big braking zone. These tyres are now cold, very easy to lock up, but you're now focused on the exit of 9. We're not there yet, they will be. Oh!
Escoto
nice save.
hangs onto it,
Nice
big time
save.
slide.
Nice save, I like to see that.
We don't have dirt racing here, but that looked like it.
And it looked like Hedge is getting a good run here. I wonder if he might be able to make a move into turn 10.
He's working on Jonathan Brown, one of the other Ganassi cars in the number 9, as we see that Escoto save, tangling with Josh Pearson in the green and white car.
It's very hard to go too wide in turn 4. Yeah, so very late move, tiny bit of contact. Great hands, really did well to save the car there. And woo, he is snug to that tire wall there.
Lockie Hughes in that 26 Andretti car is doing a great job staying up with Dennis Hauger. I don't think this one's done yet.
Oh, no. There's still 19 laps to go. One thing that's interesting, this many safety cars, heat cycles, tires come up to temperature, they come down. They go up to temperature, they come down. That actually takes a lot out of the tire to have to really try and energize it again. And they're still 2 seconds, over 2.5 seconds a lap slower than what the fastest lap has been up to this point. It's going to take time to, get those tires back into a nice operating window. Dennis has a lot of experience, but Hughes is doing a really nice job of keeping him honest right now.
Oh, great views this weekend with the drone over the bay. Best of both worlds there. We get the ambiance, if you will. That's where I think we need to spend some more time during practice sessions out there on one of those locations.
That would be quite nice.
That would be quite nice. We did get to visit one.
We sure did.
On Friday night. That was lovely.
First time I've actually been on a boat like that.
You've had a lot of firsts this weekend. It's been a good weekend.
I have.
For Jack Harvey, debuting as a broadcaster. It's been great to have his very recent experience and expertise with us. Hauger has gapped a little bit. He's pulled out on a couple of car links on Lockheed Hughes. Collette now is challenging Hughes just a bit. Miles Rowe is still right there in fourth. His best finish, by the way, on a street course at Detroit last year at this level is fourth. Jack William Miller still runs fifth. De Alba. How about Jordan Missick? Running in seventh. Partial season last year. This would be his best result. He had one inside the top 10 last year. His team owner, Bill Abel, said Jordan Missick is going to surprise some people, and he's been quick all weekend. That's him a little further back in that red and white number 48 car coming into view right now.
Bill was super complimentary about him. He really feels like this guy's got a lot of talent and that he will genuinely surprise people in a really great way. So great to see that relationship between a driver and his team owner really start to bond and develop. And when you have trust between those two parties, what happens next could be real magic.
Jordan raced for Graham Rahal last year in the Radical Cup Series and won a championship last year. He's done a lot of different kind of racing. Was a little bit late to get to Formula Car racing. He's 26 years old. Some of these others that we mentioned are as young as 16. Most are generally 18 to 22. But Jordan has now made his way up through the ladder and looking to build on some success. Jonathan Brown right behind him, second year in the series. As Chip Ganassi Racing returns. They've been at this level before, but it's been more than 15 years. And Jamie can tell us more about the Ganassi driver.
Yeah, it's been quite some time. You're exactly right, Kevin. I talked to Chip Ganassi yesterday. He was down here on pit row, and I said, why come back now to the next series? And he said, this is a perfect development series for us, kind of like a feeder series or a scouting opportunity, not only for drivers, but engineers and mechanics to move on up to his IndyCar team. So they brought 2 cars for this lineup, and Brown told me he has big shoes to fill. He's running the number 9. Of course, that's for Scott Dixon, the Iceman.
What an opportunity for these young drivers on that team. You can walk over and maybe politely ask Scott Dixon or Alex Palou a question.
I mean,
you've got Mike.
I'd love to do that now too myself.
So 45 laps was the scheduled distance, or 55 minutes. Because of the 3 cautions, we are hearing this is going to become a timed race. So the teams will be, we're by the way working lap 30 right now. So we'll get you a time when it becomes available as to how much there is remaining. That will be communicated with the teams as well. 15 minutes, okay, just over 15 minutes remaining in this race, and that is not enough, even if it stays green, to complete the 14 minutes remaining. Be close.
It'd be very close, actually. I was just looking at that.
Actually, if it does stay green, because it would still be, if they could get to 45 laps, obviously, before time expires, but that just gives a little bit more certainty because the IndyCar race is starting at 12:29 Eastern today, and we're on the air live on Fox at noon.
It'll be snug, but they, you know, if everything goes okay, they might. Looking at Dennis Hauger here, he has just set the fastest lap of the race. He's starting to stretch a little bit. Hughes is starting to stretch a little bit too. I think the interesting where some of these battles are going to start to play out and develop over this latter part of the race.
Yeah, the fastest laps are pretty much the running order. Hughes has the second quick lap, then Kyle Collette. But Jonathan Brown has the 4th quickest lap we just saw a moment ago, and Ricardo Escoto has the 5th quickest lap. .31 complete. Callum Hedge is up to 9th, Pearson to 10th. They've been moving through. There's the 16-year-old Johnson at number 18.
What's interesting to me is you're already starting to see visually how dirty some parts of the track get when cars aren't running there. Over a consistent period, people want to be up close to the wall. Sometimes that's where you actually hold some leaves and some other dirt. So one thing for anyone who gets a chance to watch later in the IndyCar race, I think that's going to be very, very apparent by the end.
Saw Sebastian Murray rolling down the pit lane with Andretti Cape, and we saw that front wing flapping a while back from him. Well, Hughes was under attack by Collette just a moment ago. Now he has gapped a bit. In fact, the front four have pulled away. Miller there in 5th in the blue car.
Hughes just set the fastest lap of the race too. He's keeping Dennis like really honest right now. Love to see drivers still pushing that hard, even though you have a little bit of a buffer. You don't have a huge buffer, but I love that they're pushing.
Lucky Hughes is really talented. He is 22 years old from Australia. He didn't race during the pandemic and found an opportunity to come to America after a 2-year hiatus, and then started winning in Jay Howard's program in F4. He won 6 times, won a championship, came to USF 2000, won 4 times, competed for that championship, and won the USF Pro Championship last year. That gave him a scholarship, almost $700,000 towards his budget to run these cars, to secure his seat with one of the top teams with Andretti. I think this might be a tight battle with Hauger and Hughes. And then Collette. We haven't talked about Kyle Collette in that black and white and red car, running in 3rd. That's where he finished in the championship. Some would have considered him the favorite coming into this season just simply because of the math. The only returning winner. Looked good last year and came in with high expectations this year in his 2nd year racing in America.
And he's having a great race, no doubt about it. Very solidly in 3rd right now. I mean, they have slightly gapped. He's under some pressure from Rowe there, but I mean, he's driving a very, very composed race. You know, he still might be at this moment, he might be saving the tires, he might be saving his push to pass for an even, more aggressive attack at the end. But I mean, he's a veteran now, he understands the flow of a championship, and to start the season on a podium, that'd be a pretty good start.
Kyle Collette won 3 times in FIA F3, so he came over here with credentials, but it's all still new. So this year he's going back to tracks for the 2nd time, so that is hugely helpful. By the way, Nolan Siegel won this race last year, and we talk about the goal is next year to get in the IndyCar. Nolan Siegel got up to a good start in this championship last year and was in IndyCar by mid-season.
You just never know. You just never know how this is going to go, but good results certainly make a big difference, no doubt.
Dennis Hauger is in control right now. This is before the race. How about Dennis Hauger getting a chance to meet some people? That's one of the advantages of racing with IndyCar. That's Team Penske IndyCar president Tim Cindric, maybe recruiting for the future, and Dan Tauris and the Andretti Global Group are saying, hey, he's on our team, stay away.
Yeah, they're not going to want to let a superstar talent get away, especially to one of their rivals. But I think what I love to see about that, all the team owners, team principals, they're watching. They want to find the next superstar talent. So really, really cool that they're out there just observing, getting the lay of the land. But Andretti Global are not going to want to see one of their guys end up in a Team Penske's car. I know that for a fact.
Well, I kid about that because in reality, all the teams, I think, would be happy that IndyCar people are out here paying attention to this series, evaluating things, and the IndyCar people are so helpful. They may have no room for you in the coming years, but the Tim Cindrics and the Mike Hulls and the Michael Shanks, everybody, they would offer advice to these young drivers and counsel.
This is a community that really just wants to elevate everybody, and that's what I love about racing in the NTT INDYCAR Series and also racing in Indy NXT.
Another one of the 9 rookies. Let's get a look at Sophia Flörsch. A lot of experience in Europe, has never raced a car in America before. She has raced a go-kart here before. 24-year-old from Germany. Right now running in the 13th position, same situation for her. She's learning a new car. It's got more power than the F3 car, and she's learning all new tracks.
Yeah, I mean, so many firsts this weekend. First time on a street circuit here, first time not in this car, but just generally on a race weekend. It's a big, asking of someone to be able to come out, be competitive straight away. And again, ovals. I know we're not at one yet, but that's going to be something else that a lot of these rookies are going to have to learn, especially those coming from Europe.
And there's not a lot of preseason testing opportunities. Sophia, before she came, decided, I want to go to the most physical track last fall. She went to Barber and felt good. So that was part of the decision that she's ready to do this. We've mentioned Nikita Johnson, who has been moving forward. The 16-year-old started in 18th. He's up to 12th right now. And Nikita's got a full program this year in the UK. He'll be driving in GB3, which was known as British F3, which is a championship Jack Harvey won.
Yeah, back in 2012, that was actually when I was teammates at one time with Felipe Nasr, Kevin Magnussen, so I've had some good company there. Also just shows, you know, the strength of that championship. However, I love that he's still using Indy NXT as a tool to just continue his general race preparation. And look, you wish him the best on what he's doing, but certainly would love to see him racing on the, you know, the west side of the Atlantic for sure.
Nikita's going to do 4 next races. The IMS doubleheader is coming up, and then Nashville at the end of the season. We are going to see Max Taylor and Evagores Papasavas also in that car as well. Let's check in on Callum Hedge with Able Motorsports and listen to his radio communication. He is running 9th right now.
Front has 110 seconds, car behind 116. You can use over 10 seconds a lap now for the rest of the race.
That is another familiar voice. Did you catch that? Spencer Piggott.
Oh, no, I didn't catch that. I'd love to hear that.
Car driver.
Yeah.
He is one of the coaches. He is the coach for Able Motorsports and works with their drivers.
And that's actually really helpful feedback, not just to know how much push to pass you have, you see that, but to know what the people around you are battling with, how much they have, is really important. Why? So you can use the timing to really make it you know, successful overtake, make it pay. It's going to make a big difference in you know, last coming how many laps we got left here?
So 7. The 38 complete now, or 6 minutes. I was told there'd be no math, so you tell me, can we get there?
How long have I got to figure it out?
Well, we'll just watch and we'll see. We'll watch for a white flag.
6 laps about to figure it out, yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on the timing stand. Hauger has still got the fastest lap of the race. Hughes has the 2nd fastest lap. Collette 3rd fastest. And then the 27 car of Salvador de Alba, also an Andretti driver, is 4th quick. Miles Rowe, 5th quickest lap. He runs 4th in this race. There's been no change in the top 7 for quite some time, as the gap widens a little bit for Hauger. Don't forget, IndyCar on Fox debuts today at noon here from the streets of St. Petersburg. Green flag before 12:30 today. It is a mixed-up grid. None of those 3 superstars are starting up front. Alex Palou is the best of them in 8th. Pato O'Ward is going to carve his way through the back. There are interesting strategies. One of the designs by Firestone was to create a bigger gap between the soft and the hards, and they've done it because many teams are having a hard time getting the soft tires to last long enough. So you're probably going to see an extra pit stop, and you're going to see different strategies.
Yeah, and I mean, even for those guys, a lot of the teams have been here before. Outside of Prema, they all have been here before. So you throw in another new element, and that's a new soft tire. No one knows how it's going to be. This is going to be such a fluid strategy in the IndyCar race later on today. I genuinely am really excited to see who starts on what tire and what their strategy is for the race.
I think some will opt for the softs, try to get rid of them as soon as possible. I think others are going to save it for the end, knowing that the track is going to get better and maybe they can last an entire stint. There's your biggest movers. Josh Pearson didn't get a chance to qualify. He's moved from near the back up into the top 10. Hailie Deegan up 6 spots today. Same with Bryce Aaron, and we've talked about Nikita Johnson. Hailie Deegan is doing exactly what she needs to do: run laps and learn.
Without any doubt. I mean, she's done a really nice job today. You can't say anything otherwise. She keeps getting quicker. I've actually been monitoring her lap times. She's just progressing. She's learning. Every single lap that she can do is just more experience, which is going to pay dividend later in the season.
There's Jonathan Brown in the trade from 8th, 9th, 10th. Josh Pearson, who's moved to Indianapolis this year. He's all in. He's moved from the Portland area, working out at Pit Fit. He is a development driver for Ed Carpenter Racing. There's no specific timeline. That was announced a couple of years ago, but it's a bit of a pipeline. He has Ed and the team there as a resource. Wants to conquer this level. He's done a lot of sports car racing as well. Josh was in the Rolex 24, the biggest sports car race in America, when he was 15 years old. Did Le Mans that year as well and has won World Endurance Championship races. Let's go back up front. Jamie, tell us about the leader.
How about Dennis Hauger just having the dream weekend? He told me on Friday they had a track walk for all series. He said, I couldn't believe I was out here walking with the Andretti team from IndyCar. He said, it's just unbelievable to be in America and know I get to race here with this team. He comes from Formula 2, and I know this team is really high on him. They think it's a huge deal to have him here going for the championship. And guys, he has just been lights out all weekend long, has led every single lap today. So I think the future's bright for Mr. Hauger.
What a debut he has had. And he was being challenged for much of the race. But now he has spread that out, and that's Haley Deegan in the Monster Energy car right in front and asking for help.
That is the leader. Keep pushing.
And a caution, and Jack William Miller is in the wall. And that is almost certainly going to end things and send Hauger to victory lane. Full course caution with 2 minutes to go on the clock, and it's gone away for Jack William Miller, who is running in 5th. It would have been a career best finish for him in his second year in Indy NXT. Best finish previously was 10th a couple of times.
Ah, such a shame. You know, only 2 laps to go. That's a real shame.
So that means we will see the white the next time by. He was already set to end on the time limit. I think we were going to come up about 1 lap short of the prescribed 45 lap distance. Now it will be a couple. And Hauger will finish behind the safety car. But first, let's see what happened to the Abel Miller Vinatieri driver. Watch Moscoto's look up ahead. What a shame.
Without seeing the actual onboard, he already looked quite wide coming off that corner. So I don't know if he carried more speed in and bottomed out, hit the ground, and then that's what put him wide, or if maybe he caught the inside wall and that's what put him wide. But that's a real shame for Jack there, no doubt.
So Hauger behind the safety car, I think. Let's watch for the flag stand. I think he is going to see the white this time by. We see yellow. There's the white flag, so they'll pace for one more lap. Here. And you do have to finish this. I did see it was an Indy Lights race.
Yeah, I've seen some interesting things
back in the day
too,
where it was raining and they were red flagging the race and checkering it. And the leader pulled into the pit lane instead of crossing the start-finish line on the track and lost a win.
People are going to think this is goofy. This is not the time to switch off, you know, for the driver, for the team. Procedurally, let's just dot all the I's, cross all the T's, see the checkered flag, because at this point, you know, Dennis and his team, his engineer, Andy Listis, he was my engineer for several years in IndyCar racing. That's going to be a really strong combo. He wanted to come out, he wanted to start the weekend well, and he's really going to, you know, head to his first win in America. It's great.
So let's highlight some of the others that have had a great day today. Lockie Hughes on debut in this series, fantastic, finished second. May have wanted more, but I think I'd be pretty satisfied with that. Good point start for Kyle Collette, thinking championship. Same for Miles Rowe. Big step for Salvador de Alba. Jordan Missick backing up the optimism coming into the season in 6th. Jonathan Brown 7th. Callum Hedge, Josh Pearson, Ricardo Escoto, top 10s. And some of those that wanted to run laps, like Sophia Flourish, Haley Deegan, did the job. Same thing for Nikita Johnson. That's really impressive. Never driving the car to finish in 11th at this level. But the day and the weekend has belonged to Dennis Hauger, the Andretti Global driver, an FIA F3 champion, 5 wins in F2, but said, I want to come to America. I want to get to IndyCar. Welcome to America, Dennis Hauger on debut. Wins in Indy NXT by Firestone, taking the opener from St. Petersburg.
Nice work, guys.
J.F. Thorman, one of the leaders of that group. That's Dan Taurus, who's now the CEO of TWG, the parent company of Andretti Global. Dan is overseeing a lot of motorsports from the Group 1001 and Gamebridge properties, but they have IndyCar, they have Indy NXT, they have Formula One, they have supercars, and on and on and on. Involved in a NASCAR program, Aspire Motorsports.
He's got a busy year.
Yes, he will be quite busy, and it starts off successfully, not only with a win, but a 1-2 finish for Andretti Global. It's HMD for Kyle Collette. Able Motorsports in 4th with Miles Rowe. Another Andretti car in 5th, so 3 of the top 5. Then another Able car. Ganassi, 7th on debut. It's going to take them a bit to catch up with the large teams that have been in this series for several years.
It sure will, and you know, they're learning as well. This is a completely different series than what they're used to. That's a fantastic team. They've got great resources. Both of their drivers are veterans. You kind of can't help but feel like throughout the season, as it progresses, they'll be there by the end of it.
The 21-year-old from Norway has done everything he needed to do this weekend. Some might remember former Indy Lights driver Anders Krohn, who was an analyst on the broadcast for many years. I asked Dennis if he was familiar with Anders, who's also from Norway, and he said, yes, actually, he helped me navigate this process and is one of the people that helped me get here. So hello, Anders. Congratulations. Watch from afar as the latest Norwegian racing in America has success and wins on debut and is rolling towards victory lane, where Jamie Little will be there to greet him. Don't forget, IndyCar is coming up less than an hour away, noon Eastern on Fox. Will Buxton leading our crew. You want to see where they start the broadcast today. You know that Will, Townsend Bell, and James Hinchcliffe are going to find an interesting spot. Jack and I will head down to pit lane to join Jamie. Tell you all the stories to kick off a brand new season. And everyone today, 27 cars in IndyCar, trying to make this same drive through what will be a mass of fans, and already they are assembling towards victory lane on the streets of St. Petersburg.
You know, you always like to say, man, I made a pass on the last lap for the win. But when
there's some time off for these programs. They will not race again until early May at Barber Motorsports Park, May 4th, 11:30 Eastern, right here on FS1.
And this is a message sent, I would imagine, for guys like Kyle Collette, Miles Rowe, Salvador Dallo.
Dennis Hauger said, there's one goal in mind. I come to America to win. I want to win a championship. I want to be an IndyCar, and I am likely going to need that scholarship help. Step 1 is done. Dennis Hauger is an Indy NXT winner, and Jamie Little is there.
That is right. What a magical weekend for Dennis. Dennis, your first race in America in this series, first race with Andretti, and you lead and dominate every lap. How did you pull that off?
That was fun. First proper race in for me in these cars as well, and we had a good rhythm. The car was really good, and the team did an amazing job all weekend long to, you know, be up there with us. So, yeah, super happy. Good start to the season, and definitely a confidence boost for us.
Dennis Hauger wins it at St. Pete.
Impressive day, impressive start. Andretti Global finishes 1-2. Don't forget, May 4th, Barber Motorsports Park is round 2. We have plenty of action, and Hauger was in control of things. Fun way to start the season for Jamie Little and Jack Harvey. I'm Kevin Lee. Coming up, IndyCar on Fox at noon. Next, it's Arena Motocross right here on FS1. Thanks for joining us from St. Pete.